Hello and welcome to the D365 Insights Podcast, brought to you by Source and Connect. Today is episode 18, Beyond the System, What Really Makes a Great Consultant. And today we are welcoming Iwona Kasiborska, who's going to come and give us all of her wisdom. So for the listeners who might not know you yet, Iwona, can you give us a quick intro to who you are, your background, and your journey into ERP consulting?
Hi, Sarah. Hi, listeners. My name is Iwona Kasiborska, and I wasn't always a consultant. I started in accounting, account assistant, financial accountant, junior accountant, here and there. And at some stage, I got into temporary jobs, such as we call it contracting now. Um, and that lasted for a year and a little bit. And within that period, I had to quickly learn different accounting packages. Every
Mhm.
single client will have something else. There will be an Australian gold mine, Nyota Minerals, they would use MYOB, which stands for Mind Your Own Business, a little accounting software from Australia. Then I lived in South Africa for a while. I've learned Pastel Partner. Then it was Sage here in the UK, SAP, HANA. Um, uh, then I've decided that I want to do something else. I've trained myself on SAP Business One, and I thought, hang on a second, this is fun. This is like a car. The idea and the concept is the same. Every single accounting package is like a car, but it's like a different brand.
Yeah.
Because after the fourth one, I just picked up another one in a week, and I was doing accounts on it. And I'm like, wow, this is so much fun. I want another one. Maybe that's the calling. And ever since I started working after uni, when you're trying to find yourself and
Mm.
you want to do something that you enjoy, but you also want to be good at it. I mean, this is when you enjoy it, when you're good at it. Accounting was not for me. It's just too
Mm.
much repetitiveness. It was getting boring at some stage for me. And I needed a challenge. I needed a good problem. I needed some logical thinking. And I've decided that I want to be that business one consultant. This is how I learned that. Um, I went on the interview and I got actually a job offer at Sapphire, but I thought I'm actually earning more as an accountant, so I stayed for another year in accounting. But then after that year, I said, okay, I have to do something, and I randomly called a recruiter. So the way I got into consulting or into dynamics, it was a lot of determination, but also pure luck because the recruiter I called saw something in me. He gave me a chance. He said, listen, I don't have anything for sub business one, but have you ever heard about Dynamics AX? No. And he said, well, my friend, she's a recruiter for a company called HSO, and they will cross train you. They will send you on like 2 months crash course because they have something called graduate program, and you would be so good. You're good on to talk to on the phone. We never saw each other face to face. And the rest is the history. I got my interview with David Little. HSO was only 60 people 12 years ago. Uh, and I convinced him that I am good for this job. I said, I've got logical mind. I am good with recognition, pattern recognitions, systems. I'm a born musician. Music is a system. I learn languages. English just came to me easily. It's a system. So I need a system. I need to work on the system. And I said, I mean, if after
Amazing.
this interview he doesn't give me another chance, I don't know. I don't know
Yeah.
who. So then I was asked to create a PowerPoint presentation. I have no idea what it was about. I know that it didn't work the way I wanted. It had a lot of unnecessarily used animations and stuff like that. How did I get that job? Seriously. Yeah, they said yes, and that's it. And I've been loving what I do ever since. It's been so much fun until I got into contracting. Now it's serious. Now it's
Yeah, yeah. Okay. No, that's such an and as a recruiter, obviously, I love to hear those success stories and how that recruiter made a real difference for you, and taking a punt on you without having that experience. So that's really, really great. Um, so moving on then to the job. So you've spoken about how consulting is often misunderstood. Why do you think people underestimate what it really takes to be a consultant?
Well, first of all, there is a lot of misconception about us getting a lot of money for such an easy job, and it's not. Um, we get a lot of money because many times we have to travel. We are away from our families a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not just going 8 hours a day. It's going for 4 days a week away
Mhm.
from your kids. It's a massive thing to do in your life. It's a sacrifice. But not only that, the first thing is knowing the system. This is
Yeah.
how you start. That's your foundation. But then as you progress, you realize that you need to learn about an industry because every project, you either stay within the same industry, but as a contractor, you don't really have that much choice. You get a job and then it's your job to learn about the new industry, about the new company within that industry. It's not only system, it's processes, it's people skills, it's reading the room, it's apply your knowledge to first of all the industry, the company, the processes, and then you think accounting, you have to know these things, especially when you're a finance consultant. But accounting is also depending on which country the client is in. It's compliance because there are different laws. So you need to learn a lot. And as a consultant, you will learn until you stop working. So for the rest of your career, you will be learning. So you need to be willing to do these things every time you step into another a project. If you are doing, for example, accounting, you will have your knowledge and then you will be within the company for 15, 20 years, and you'll do the same.
Mhm.
Okay, new regulations, accounting change. Okay, but in the dynamics world, you will learn new industry, new uh, clients, new technologies because now AI, it's so fast. You've got to keep up.
Yeah.
So it's not just a job, it's a lifestyle.
Yeah, absolutely. And then something else that, it comes up for me when I'm recruiting is communication skills as well. So you're also having to have all of that knowledge, but then also being able to articulate that within the business, and dealing with those different stakeholders as a consultant as well.
Yes, and it's very important because now it's such a balancing act. You have different people in the room, especially at the beginning. The analysis phase, for example, that's when you see who's more or less professional. Analysis phases. I'll just say that because this is where the personalities come up a lot. You need to set the stage as a consultant, and not everybody remembers to do it. You're not there to give them solutions straight away. You have to tell them that this is where you talk. So you need to let them speak. Tell them, uh, this is your time now to have a moaning period, complaining to, because your complaints and your issues, your frustrations are gold to me. I will take them and I will make good with it.
Yeah, yeah,
Let them talk, let them argue. Sometimes people argue that there are heated conversations in the room, like who wants something from the system, and the other person says yes, but not just yet, but why? And then you just sit there. They're grown-ups. They need to talk it out because this is this is your requirement. This is your bread and butter. Don't interrupt. Don't try to be a mediator. And sometimes when people are asking questions in a workshop, the first thing is like this joy of helping, and it's like, yeah, I know how to do it. I know it's bubbling from within, and you just want to tell them, but you can't. It's too early. you know, right now you think that this is the solution, but you haven't heard enough. You haven't gone through processes. You haven't heard enough what's happening within the company at the beginning. Um, you've got the knowledge, but don't tell them the solution yet. So it's running the workshop, reading the room, the ability of staying self-regulated, even if you know just suppress that urge of helping out and telling them, yes, I know how to do it, because although you need to know the system, that's a given. This is why you're in the project. You don't need to prove to anyone that you know it, because it will come up later. Stay calm and composed, and sometimes it's very difficult. Sometimes it's hard when you've got a really big personality in the room, and you know what? People get intimidating. They are really like, they speak loudly, they big, the hand gestures, and you think, oh my God, I'm gonna slate me in front of everybody. But no, you need to sort of still stay calm and composed. And then another thing, you come into the room with all that knowledge. Sometimes you are intimidating to all the peers, all the people who are on the lower positions. So think about this like this. You need to now balance the confidence with your competence, but also add some warmth to it, because some people, it makes you approachable. Some people are a little bit more shy. You know, you need to be confident towards the big person, but then you need to be a little bit more approachable to someone who is not that strong. So you have to read the room, and this is where I am calm also about my job as a consultant, that AI cannot take it over.
Yes, absolutely. And that's a topic in itself, isn't it, about AI and
Yeah.
just not being able to replace that human element. And yeah, I like what you said there about how bit sort of reading the room and then having to adapt to the different personality styles. So that's also something that you'll have in a really good consultant alongside all of that other knowledge that you have. So, why is the ability to teach and explain complex systems in simple terms such a critical and often overlooked skill?
Uh, I've seen, I have seen great consultants as a trainer. I mean, in my line of work, you need to understand a lot of logical things. But also not everybody who, there are people who are super intelligent and they absorb knowledge like a sponge, but then when they are there to explain it to someone, they will use all the technical language. That is in itself so intimidating for example, accountant. Like, you need to try to speak the language of the group you are in, because they need to feel that you are working with them, not above them. Uh, don't show just clicks. Training is not just showing clicking in the system. Okay, in that field you will do this, and then you click. It's just, you need to construct the training so it's not boring. You need to modulate your voice. You need to ask questions. You need to be engaging. Otherwise, you lose the room, especially when you have it online training. It's very hard when you can't see everyone's eyes. Some people, they refuse to have the camera on. It's really tough. The most important thing is, within the process of the company, you've got your system, your beloved dynamics. You have to teach the system within the process, not just clicks. And some consultants forget about it. I think these things come with uh, experience, but it's hard when you don't see it. Also, patience. Patience is a virtue, and in our world, when you're becoming a teacher at some stage of the project, there is no other way than just being patient, but patient and warmth. Because if somebody doesn't know something, doesn't understand. They're learning, especially when it's really new. Some companies they come from spreadsheets to the system. It's so overwhelming.
Yeah.
Um, Another thing, train, but then don't overload with knowledge. Give little chunks. It's a lot to think about.
Mm, absolutely. Thank you. So, a strong consultant knows how to listen. One of your key messages is that strong consultants know how to listen. Why is listening so important during the discovery phase?
Well, first of all, human nature. When you start thinking and solutionizing and finding answers, you stop listening. Simple as that. Um, when when you start talking, people stop, and that should be the other way around. You must ask the right questions, leading questions,
Mm,
and then listen. Don't jump into giving solutions, as I mentioned before. It's it's consulting. It's not an exam. You're not here to impress anyone. Uh, and sometimes the client will think that that's this is the workshop and we're going to find out all about the system, and they get frustrated that why you're not telling you, we want to see the system, this and that. uh no, that's not how consulting works. uh I cannot give you the answer at the very beginning stage of the project. I mean, if that was so easy, uh we would be finished in 6 months, not in 18. So listening is very important. Also, another thing, many times after go live, when users are already deeply in use of Dynamics, they're used to it, they like it or not, but they are using it. When they log in tickets, when something is not working, they think that they have to use um, Dynamics or IT language to get what they want. And I wrote in one of my posts on LinkedIn that the good consultant will hear you out first. I had a situation when there was a ticket was not resolved for 6 months because, first of all, there was not enough knowledge within the company, uh, in the team, to recognize that what the lady was asking was not where she thought it was. So she was working with a template, import template for purchase orders. And she said, "Can you please amend my template because an information isn't showing on the PO?" And everybody was trying to amend the template, and every time they would add that one thing on the template, the import would fail. The info wasn't there. She sounded like she knew what she was requesting. And then I went to her and I said, "Forget Dynamics. What exactly, in your own words, what do you need?" And she said, "Well, there's this field, the information about a PO, which I want to show on the printout on output document
mhm.
so the supplier can see it." And I said, "Okay, thanks for telling me that. It's not your template. Your template is fine. You just need a tiny little toggle moved in the config. 3 seconds job, and it was done." But no, nobody went back to her. Just speak to the person.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just the best thing about solving issues in Dynamics is just forget about the system for a second and just listen to the human behind the ticket.
Yeah. Fantastic example. Thank you. So, why do you think the calmest person in the room often has the most authority in difficult workshops?
Well, what can I say? If you don't lose your cool, you look composed, you look
Mm,
confident, trustworthy, and, well, let's be honest, classy. Uh, People argue there are many personalities. Um, First of all, it's for me, for example, it's very hard to get not to get spooked, because when people start being really heated and some kind of aggressiveness is coming out, or raised voices, I'm like, I don't want that. And I just want to wait it out. At the end of the day, we're all grown ups. If there is a heated conversation, then, and you're not the part of it, let it fizzle out, and then calmly, when they finish, uh, take the conversation, pick it up where it was left, and try to steer the room and steer the subject in the right direction. And this is what a good consultant will do. It's, don't get picked up with the thunder. Don't let it uh, kidnap you.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So you've implemented Dynamics, now what? Many of the projects you're brought into are post go live. Why do organizations often struggle after implementation?
There are many reasons they struggle, but the most common one I came across was training and adoption, change
Yeah,
management. Sometimes companies rush going live because of the budget. They're running out of budget, they're running out of time, and they say, okay, well, then we just have to go live right now because it's just going to be a car crash otherwise. And it's more like taking a leap of luck with going live, where then now the team is not ready. They're not confident using the system. They don't trust it yet. They use it, but then when they don't know how to use the functionality, they go around.
yeah,
And the most common is my pet hate. But I always train my people in accounts and say, General Ledger Journal is not always your solution, because if you post it as a workaround, your subledgers will not reconcile to your GL.
yeah,
That's the very common workaround that people do. I was like, oh yeah, I don't know how to post that through the functionality. I'll just do the GL debit credit. It's fine. It's in GL, but system-wise, it's not.
mm,
So many times things happen like this. Bad data, not cleaned up before, workarounds, which are then for months and months becoming the permanent workings. Uh, Things like not enough knowledge transfer. For example, I was called into a company to sort out the workflows. Can you please come over and look into our workflows, because purchase requisitions are getting stuck in the review all the time, and we are a very dynamic company. So if that's stuck in the review, then we can't create a purchase order, and we need a part for the car very quickly. So I looked at that and I'm thinking, mm, workflows work exactly as they are designed. Workflows were not a problem. What was going into Dynamics
mhm,
before it hit the workflow was the problem.
yeah,
So many times it's just the adoption and training, but it's not enough, and people underestimate it, because many times the system works for transaction, but it doesn't work for your process. It doesn't work for your operation, and somewhere things are missed in the process.
mm. So would you suggest bringing in change and training from the beginning of a project of implementation?
Not from the beginning, but the stage where you start designing very slowly. Uh, Start train the trainer, that's for sure. Um, it is very important to transfer the knowledge. Some people guard it because I've learned. It took me so long to do it, and I am just so reluctant to pass it on. But it's your job to pass it on.
Yeah,
You When you leave the project, you must have the feeling of that they don't need you anymore.
yeah,
If they still need you, that means that you haven't done a good job.
yeah, yeah. Fantastic. So moving on to the contract market, and this is something that I posted about recently on LinkedIn as well. So the contracting market has been really tough recently. What changes have you noticed? What skills or behaviors do you think help consultants stand out in a really difficult market?
Mm. The biggest challenge I see in the change of coming back to the office.
Yeah,
Last year, I would have landed 2 or 3 projects if I could travel 3, 4 hours away from home, but I
yeah,
can't,
yeah,
unfortunately, not just yet. I'm a parent, I have a little one at home, and because I'm a single parent, leaving her with someone who'll be leaving her for the night and the day with a stranger, and she's not used to it. I don't want to do it until she's a lot older. So yes, going back to the office is definitely not working for us
yeah.
um, in this industry.
We are seeing that a lot more, and there are situations where there's a genuine need for it. I've had one recently where it's a consultant working in the production, warehousing, and so they need to be, on site. So
There, yeah.
that's fair. But then we have seen more sort of return to office, really in the last couple of years. So yeah, I can relate to that.
I mean, th- there are there are situations that there are part of the project where you can't put money on a price on seeing a person face to face. It's creating relationships. It's getting to know each other. It's after all we are humans and we are going to be in it together for another 18 to 24 months. So the human interaction is very important. I have done one project completely remote. We tried to sort of socialize online, but it's just not the same. Um, it's good to sort of become a part of the group because as a consultant, you need to be trustworthy. You need to make a client feel that you are with them on it, you're working with them, that you are becoming one of them for that period of time. And this is how I do it because it's just this is the best way of getting into the ticket of what they do. So analysis phase, talking things out, absolutely crucial. That I've done it recently and it was brilliant. Training. I mean, you can train online, but it's a lot harder when you can't see faces. Some people are like, yeah, as I said, they get overwhelmed, they get shy, they get frustrated. It's best when you are in the room.
Mm,
But there are part of the job where traveling is such a waste of time.
mm,
I do have an example. You mentioned that the industry is giving a chance of sort of working remotely to balance work and life or outside work. I mean, the industry itself, it's already helping people out. I mean, IT can be remote, and we understand what can be done remote or not. But there's another part. Your client is not IT.
mm.
They are different industries, and not everybody works the same. Some people are like, yeah, do it online, do it remotely. As long as the job is done, we don't care. But then there are companies who say one thing, but there's completely different practice. I've got an example of a big brand. I was employed, I was hired for 12 months contract just to quickly sort out the ticket support. I took it as a side gig. A junior role usually is something like that would be outsourced in India, somewhere outside, like it's so online. But I was asked, and I agreed to it, that I would be in the office 2 days a week.
Mhm.
And in the first week, I mean, I had an interview on Friday and I was working on Monday. So
Mhm.
I sort of needed some time to get my childcare, right? So on Tuesday and Thursday in the first week, I didn't show up at 9 o'clock exactly. And then basically, after those 4 days of work, I got fired on the spot for not being in the office for 9 o'clock,
Wow.
which was brutal to me. It was very tough because, first of all, they didn't give me a chance to adjust. They knew I had a kid. I was upfront with everything. And another thing, I was smashing it. 30% of the tickets after 3 days were done, and everybody in production knew me.
Yeah. Wow.
So not everyone is ready, and some companies are super rigid. And
Yeah.
you think it's just so illogical because the waste of time of travel, I would have done so much during that time. But what can you do?
What can you do? No, that is crazy. So in terms of going back to the contract market, is there anything else you've said, obviously, that set you back? Are there any other challenges at all that you've kind of seen whilst being in the contract market of late?
Staying visible. Well, it's a
Mm.
challenge, but then also you need to develop a skill, such as selling. Okay. Right now I've just realized I need to start selling. I need to start popping on that LinkedIn and being a remote working person. LinkedIn is my to-go platform to let people know that I actually exist
Yeah.
and I know something. So I'm thinking, oh, what are my peers doing? I can see a really good consultants or guys who actually have their own companies posting cliches, posting things like, I know that already, right? And I'm thinking, well, hang on a second, there must be a reason they're doing it, right?
Yeah.
They know so much more than what they just posted now. But if that gives you visibility and clicks and contacts and traction, then why not? And I'm thinking, but I've got my knowledge too, right? I've
Mhm.
got 12 years of copious notes about dynamics, about consulting, about this and that. And I thought, I have now AI. I
Our
know,
friend.
and I can put some in. I can have some input into knowledge. I can show what I know. Maybe without posting the cliches of this dynamics world. I will turn my notes into a little snippets of knowledge for LinkedIn, and I can do it within seconds with AI. And I'm so grateful. Best tool I've ever had.
Yeah. It is very much about visibility, and this is what I was also posting about on LinkedIn the other day,
Mhm.
that the contract market has actually picked up a bit, but the competition is so fierce. So many great contractors out of work. So when agencies quite often don't post their roles because we get completely inundated with CVs. So it's about making yourself visible in your network, about making yourself visible on LinkedIn, but also then with recruiters as well, because a lot of those roles that come up, the recruiter will say, well, I know three people off the top of my head for that, and I've just put them across, rather than sifting through hundreds of CVs if you're going to
Yeah.
post it on LinkedIn, which is the harsh reality of it, and it's really unfair. Um, so you're doing all the right things, and yeah, putting your knowledge out there for people to look at on LinkedIn. You can write articles as well,
Mhm.
blogs. But I think as a contractor, especially in a tough market, you're running your own business, aren't you? So you're head of marketing as well as everything else, and I'm the same. So the marketing of yourself is actually a full-time job. So
Yes, it
I
is. Oh my
empathize
God.
with you there. So
That's true.
we touched on on-site work, flexibility, and being a mum. So as a mum, how important is flexibility and being close to home when choosing? Do you feel
It's
that balance and flexibility actually make you more effective as a consultant?
it's absolutely everything. First of
Mm.
all, it gives me a peace of mind that first of all I can be with my child because let's face it, we're not robots.
Hmm.
And we don't go to work because we love to be away from our children.
Yeah.
Okay, we work because we want to give them future. We want to make money to buy them things. It's
Hmm.
so simple, and um, I don't know why people don't talk about it openly, but this is what it is. It's business. I've
Hmm.
got something I can give you, but I want rewards for it because, I have a life and bills to pay. So with this, being having the control of my time, um, um, sometimes I feel like I'm failing on both fields, and e- every mother will tell you that every parent who's trying to balance it feels the same way. But if I can spend some time between, after school and bedtime with my child, I can be that person for her. And then I know I've got that peace of mind that I don't have to do the job right now because somebody's working or somebody's going to tell something or somebody will say, oh, yes, she's not working right now. I can sit down when everything is quiet and just lose myself in the config and have that quality work.
Mm,
That's amazing. I'm not rushed. I've got my schedule and I follow it. It keeps you in check because you drop one ball and then everything is piling up. So you have to be really, really good with your deadlines. But I don't know what I'll do without the flexibility from 9 to 6. And then my kid goes to sleep at 7. Then when will I ever see her?
mm,
Imagine that.
yeah.
So yes, the flexibility of what I do is everything. I consider myself so lucky that I work in the field I'm working.
Mm. And also with, being an outside IR35 contractor, you have a statement of works. So there isn't supposed to be that element of control. And whilst obviously we need to be, in the room for the right conversations, there
Yes,
should be that flexibility to work your hours in the way that you need to. So if that works for you, that you log off from, I don't know what time you pick up. I don't know the age of your child, but maybe you log off at 4:30 for, I don't know, the school run and dinner time and putting them to bed, and then you're, like you say, getting lost in the config from 7 till 9.
mm,
As long as you're delivering for that client, it shouldn't really matter.
absolutely.
But it is, each client is different and their requirements are different. And it depends. I know you're a finance consultant. Sometimes it can be different for a supply chain consultant. It depends on what, some businesses genuinely do need you on site. And you've
Mm,
mentioned, earlier the benefits of being on site.
mm,
Um, and I think you and I have talked before about opportunities that if there's enough, advanced warning that you needed to do a couple of days in the office or 3 days in the office and you're like in a go live situation or whatever that might be, then you can make those arrangements. Um,
absolutely.
yeah,
But it's
yeah.
also very important to be very clear before you sign the contract.
Mm,
You have to lay it out and make sure, like, I've learned after being fired after those 3 days, I've learned that what um, for example, the previous client, Williams Racing, they wanted me in the office initially 4 days a week. But then they quickly realized that they didn't really need me and it would be like once a month, twice a month. And I liked doing it because it was a nice change. I met people, we talked, it was brilliant. It was so much better just to quickly have a chat by someone's desk than just going back and forth with emails.
mm,
And when I was going to the other company after that, I somehow had it in mind that they would be as flexible as the previous one, in a way that come over 2 days 2 days a week, and I could rock up at 10 after the school drop off because it was almost 2 hours drive. Uh, and now that was not the case. So when you talk about these things, get into details. Is it okay that I will be late and I will rock up a little bit later than everybody, or must I hit the 9 o'clock and be on my desk? Because apparently it's very important for some people. So be upfront, make your checklist, and make sure that you agree to the right things from the beginning, so you don't have surprises later.
And thank you for sharing that so honestly with everybody. It's really a really good story. And I think that, yeah, if you're, everything's about communication, isn't it? As long as you're upfront
Absolutely.
about something, a lot of businesses, should be able to support a working mum that's trying to, support their family. If you're upfront saying, I need to do this, this is me on my own and I need to do the school run. Um, but I'm going to make up for it, once my child's in bed, then that
Yes.
should be okay. And I think that businesses shouldn't and probably are open. So moving on to the last couple of questions, you'll be pleased to know. So what advice would you give to someone considering a career in ERP consulting today?
Oh my God. The first of all, if you want to be a consultant, consider that you will learn forever. Okay, it's not a job that you can just sit comfortably and do it with things with your eyes closed. No,
Yeah.
you need to be a person who likes a challenge, who likes changes, uh, who does not like boredom and repetitiveness. Then you'll be good at it. You must be very intelligent, people's person, and very driven. Very driven.
Yeah.
You will meet tons of people. You will have great experiences. Um, if you can travel, then you can travel the world with consultancy. And the once you get into dynamics and those projects, you can actually realize after a year or two or 5 or 6 that you can go into different directions. The sky's the limit. There's so many avenues you can steer your career, and you don't always have to do the same. You can change if you're willing to learn. It's amazing. It's just amazing.
Oh, that's amazing. I'm glad that you've had such a great experience with it. So, which
Yes.
skills do you think will always be in demand, regardless of how the market changes?
Flexibility. I think right now, the people used to say survival of the fittest.
Yeah.
Right now is survival of the most adaptable.
Hmm.
Your mind you have to be open-minded all the time and just follow the new, because the new will get you hired. If you stay behind and you think you're going to be doing the same thing forever, forget it. You'll be out of the play, out of the
Mm,
game very quickly.
mm. Amazing. Thank you so much. So that's the end of the questions. I want to thank you so much for coming onto
Thank
the
you.
podcast and
Thank you for
sharing all of
having
your
me.
wisdom. No worries. And I just love your answers and your just your energy and yeah, being so honest
Thanks.
with your answers. So I really appreciate that, and I hope everybody else does too. So for the listeners, do give us a follow if you're not already on Spotify and YouTube. It's D365 Insights by Source and Connect. And thanks again, Iwona, for your time.
Thank you, Sarah.